Hey there YouTubers, Retro Marky here. Just a quick video to say Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and long live the Commodore 64. Now this machine here is my test machine, which I thought you may be interested in seeing. Nothing particularly special. We've got a standard bread bin keyboard just because I just happen to have one spare. No particular reason on that. And we're using the C64C case. Now normally I prefer to use a bread bin, however there are some advantages to this. Maybe they're quite small, but I think they're important. First advantage is the case just pops, the lid of the case just pops on and off really easily. So I don't like having this kind of mess in my room when I finish testing. Next, because this is a C64C, the keyboard will sit quite happily in the case, come in and out, and of course I can just plug it in and away we go. Okay, let's power on now and take a quick look through the wonders of picking up my tripod at the board itself. So nothing too fancy here, but because it's my test machine, we've got a dongle in the user port, a dongle in the serial port, and also an Easy Flash 1 cartridge. I'll go into that in a minute. One little tip I find is put an LED onto your test board, because you don't want to be putting cartridges in with the power switched on. So that just kind of reminds you in your peripheral vision, if you're doing anything, to turn the power off. Next we've got a ZIF zero insertion force socket here, which holds our VIC-2 chip, so that can come in and out without any damage. We've got the same thing here for the ULA. We've got the SID socket here on this machine. Sometimes it's here, but on this one it's here, and that's ready to put a SID chip into for testing. Another little tip is, if you have one of these, the Ultimate 2, which I bang on about quite a lot, you don't need a SID chip at all. Your machine will work fine without a SID chip, and if you use the Ultimate 2, then you'll get your sound. So little tip there if you've got a machine sans SID. Don't say that very often. Over here we've got a slightly unusual motherboard, so all of these are socketed, which means I can pop out any of the PLAs for testing. And again, the kernel and character ROM, I've got a ZIF on the basic chip, so any of those can be changed. And the same with the 6510 processor. So that's the machine itself. If we just quickly try and get this tripod vaguely straight, not too wonkaloid, if that's a word. Maybe zoom in a bit. Okay, so we've got our Easy Flash cartridge. Now, I do have a bunch of diagnostic cartridges, as you know, about 4 or 5 I think. The advantage with this system I've made myself is I've put the 1541 diagnostic here, the cartridge image, so I can test disk drives. I have diagnostic 64 here, which is the standard Commodore one. Doctor 64, which is that one. I've also got the file browser for the SD2 IEC on here, which makes it a little bit less clunky loading from the SD2 IEC. I've got my FM radio app in case I want to pop my radio in the user port, but that's not for testing. A bunch of games and also a demo that work from the cartridge, so I can do some testing at the end to make sure games work, run a demo perhaps. I've also got SID Bench, which tests the SID chip, and an alternative diagnostic cartridge called Test 64, which I really like because it goes into details about the ROM, kernel, and the basic chip as well. So it's good to have, if you can, a couple of diagnostic cartridges, because all of them have their pros and cons and test certain things or not. So that's pretty much it. That is my recommendation especially if you're a bit of a beginner and you want to tinker around with this on a good basis for a test machine. You don't need, well actually no, you do need the original motherboard, or you're going to have to do a lot of work. The things with the C64C motherboard, these three are in one chip, a lot of other bits are in one chip, sometimes the RAM as well I think. Oh, there's the other thing, I've got a socketed RAM chip here. So I recommend an old bread bin motherboard if you want to do this yourself. There we go, that's my video. Thank you for watching, and again, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Ciao. Retro Marky out.